smile is a story, but some stories aren't meant to be told. Tonight, we peel back the mask of a YouTuber who turned her own life into a horror script. And the ending, you won't see it coming. Welcome to Bone Chilling, the place where true crime, unsolved mysteries, and terrifying real-life tales come alive. If you crave stories that leave you questioning reality, you're in the right place, because what you're about to hear is not fiction. It's the story of Samantha Wolford, a YouTube mom, actress wannabe, and vlogger who let her obsession with fame push her past the edge of humanity. It all begins in Texas. Samantha Wolford was a young mother of 3, juggling life at home while dreaming of a bigger stage. Her YouTube channel, called Simply Manic, was her window to the world. She uploaded vlogs, skits, and little slices of her life, hoping her videos would spark the fame she desperately craved. But behind the scenes, Samantha's life was far from the glamorous persona she projected online. Her marriage was crumbling, financial pressures were mounting, and she grew resentful of the life she had. Convinced she was destined for more.
I've always wanted to be an actress. I think it is so much fun. I've been extras in movies. I've had small parts in like short films. It is so much fun and it is so beautiful. It is one of the most amazing forms of art ever to be able to express yourself that way.
Her husband, Ernie, worked hard to provide for the family, but Samantha felt trapped. To her, being a wife and mother wasn't enough. It was a cage. She wanted cameras, lights, followers, recognition. She wanted to be someone. And in her mind, every good story has conflict. Every protagonist faces an obstacle. But unlike other creators, Samantha didn't just document her life. She rewrote it, twisting reality into a dark script where her own husband became the villain, and she, the star. On Simply Manic, Samantha would laugh, joke, and act carefree, but off camera, she was plotting, talking to friends about feeling controlled, whispering about wanting freedom, planting seeds of victimhood, convincing others that her life with Ernie was unbearable. Was this manipulation or just performance bleeding into reality? For Samantha, the line between her online persona and her real life blurred until there was no difference. She was writing her own movie, and in that script, her husband's role was about to be cut permanently. But how far would she go to chase this fantasy? How does a YouTuber, a mother, and an aspiring actress convince herself that murder could be the answer? The clues were there, in her words, her actions, her lies. And soon, those lies would spiral out of control. On a cold February night in 2014, Samantha's movie script finally bled into reality. What happened next would shock her community, devastate her children, and leave her facing a prison sentence longer than most lifetimes. But the most chilling part, it was all part of her plan. In part 2, we'll uncover the brutal crime Samantha orchestrated, and how her twisted dream of fame became her ultimate downfall. If this story has you hooked, don't go anywhere. Subscribe to Bone Chilling and turn on notifications, because the next chapter of this nightmare is coming, and trust me, you don't want to miss it. Until then, remember, the scariest monsters are often the ones we invite into our homes. Welcome back to Bone Chilling, the home of unsolved mysteries, terrifying crimes, and stories that make your blood run cold. If you thought Samantha's obsession
County
was
911, what's your emergency?
wait
I have a
until you
home
hear
invasion.
what
My niece is
happened
tied
when
up.
fantasy became fatal.
I am at the verge of untying my niece at this particular moment.
Okay, she's tied up
She is tied up and gagged.
and gagged. Is that what you
Yes,
said?
ma'am.
Is there anybody else there?
Where are the kids? We have 5 small infants asleep.
Apparently, 3 masked men.
It was February 20th, 2014. A quiet night in Titus County, Texas. Samantha's husband, Ernie, was at home when suddenly masked men stormed into the house. They tied him up, beat him, and dragged him into the freezing night. Samantha, meanwhile, played the part of the terrified victim, screaming, crying, selling the scene like an actress in her own horror film. But this wasn't a random home invasion. It was a script Samantha had written. She orchestrated the kidnapping, convincing her lover and his friends to help her eliminate the problem standing in her way, Ernie. The men forced Ernie into a car, drove him into the woods, and left him for dead. Samantha stayed behind with her children, maintaining her cover. When investigators arrived, she told them a chilling story that intruders broke in and abducted her husband. She cried, she begged for help, but beneath the tears was silence because she already knew he wouldn't be coming home. Hours later, Ernie was found. He had been brutally beaten and left bound, his life stolen by the people Samantha trusted most. And yet, she played her role flawlessly, telling police she was innocent. But her story, it was about to unravel. At first, investigators sympathized, a young mother, widowed overnight. But something about her performance felt rehearsed, too polished, too perfect. Detectives dug deeper, and what they uncovered was chilling. At trial, Samantha tried to maintain her innocence, claiming she was forced into the scheme. But the evidence painted a darker picture. This wasn't coercion. It was a calculation. The jury didn't buy her performance. In the end, Samantha Wolford was sentenced to 149 years in prison, a lifetime behind bars. Her YouTube channel, Simply Manic, was abandoned. Her dream of stardom became a nightmare, one she scripted herself. Fame, obsession, lies. For Samantha, they were more than flaws. They were her downfall. She traded her family, her freedom, and her future for a spotlight that never came. And the role she thought would make her famous made her infamous instead. This was Bone Chilling, the channel that uncovers the darkest truths hidden in plain sight.